Good morning and welcome you to my live CPS broadcast. This is um, a podcast that's found on Facebook, shown on YouTube, about how to fight CPS and how to get your children back. Now, before we start, you may ask me, what is CPS? Well, CPS stands for the Children Protection, excuse me, Children Protection Services, CPS. And what it is, it's a branch of social services that protects our children from neglect and abuse and other factors that can be detrimental to the children. It also is supposed to do a family reconciliation, family get back together again. Um, Now, we have several ways you can interact in this show. First is by a comment. You can text a comment at the bottom of that video that you're watching on the YouTube video. And you text the comment, but make sure you put your name. It could be your first name, that's fine. And something that identifies you. And uh, secondly, you need to put the city and the state you're talking from. And then I'd like to know a little bit about your case, your allegations, and what children it involves, and then you can ask your question. It's a forum to help you interact with the show and for me to help you get your children back. We're not really into politics here on the show, so it's strictly to help you with CPS matters that you may have been tangled with. And when you put the comment in, I will see it, I'll review it, and then I'll display it. And if it's appropriate, I'll display it. And then you can have the two-way of talking to me um, via the text messages. Now, another great way to do it is to call in right now. Call into my phone at 626 598 0990. That's my office line, and it's available when I'm on the show. Now, this show is transmitted 7 days a week, twice a day. One at 10 o'clock in the morning, the other time at 7 o'clock at night. That's all Pacific Standard Time. There's one exception on Sunday. It's a late start at 10:30 because there's another show that Sunday morning. So you have 14 shows of me talking about CPS. So you can text a comment. You can talk live right away and be a part of the show. Or if you want to talk at a later date and formalize your appearance, you can be a guest on the show. And I'd love to have you as a guest. That number is 888-888-6582. That is my other office line. And what you need to do is you need to tell them that Bob Pace sent you. So that way they know what you're talking about and they'll schedule you a time that you pick. 7 days a week, so 2 times a day. So you can pick your date and time. And if it's available, they'll set up, my producer will set up and have you speak on the show. And I love to have that. I love to have people speak live on the show because it gives a little bit more view from somebody different, and it may be a different approach or something like that. I want to hear the goods and bads of CPS. The other thing is, there's a valuable tool that you'll need right away when you're involved in CPS. That is, you'll need a lawyer, a professional lawyer. Now, just like if you're going to go in for open heart surgery, you're going to get a professional doctor operate on you. That's what this lawyer does. And there's a distinction between two kinds of lawyers we have. We have ones that are offered by CPS, that are public defenders, that may have 20 cases at one time trying to handle. And then there's the professional attorneys that will take the time and will help you in your case and get your children back. Now I see Queen A and W. I've spoken to you before, Queen, and welcome to the show again. Now, she has a hearing. I forgot what state you're in, city and state, Queen, but she has a hearing on the 22nd because I do not agree with the department tricking me into signing a contract into mediation and didn't answer the main issues for the whole reasoning. Okay, I'm going to put that on so we can see that, and we'll try to help her through this. So the 22nd is still a little bit down the road there. So they tricked you to sign a contract. What contract did you sign, Queen? I need a little bit more information. I need your city and the state, and then what contract it signed, and what are the allegations? What are the allegations? And so I can better understand that, so I can better help you. So if you hear me, if you could um, put what kind of a contract that they want you to sign and the allegations and the city and state you're from, Queen. All right. So as I was saying, you need that valuable tool, the attorney. That attorney is somebody that will help you. And we're very fortunate to have an attorney produce this podcast. He has a law firm that produces it called Vincent W. Davis and Associates. There are many lawyers a part of this law firm that can help you with legal matters. The matter that you're in is in dependency court, family court, juvenile. That's where it involves your children under the age of 18. So right now, our attorney, Vincent W. Davis, is offering a 30-minute up to 1 hour free consultation to go over the strategies of fighting CPS and getting your children back. So it's very important that you call in. And the number that you call in is 888-888-6582. And you want to schedule a time that he has available to meet with him. Make sure you use my name and say Bob Pace sent you. If you do that, you'll get that at no charge. He does charge for consultation, but if you say my name, Bob Pace, also make sure you say my name when you speak to Mr. Davis that you spoke to Bob Pace. It's very important on that, so that way you can get that service. So it's 888-888-6582. Okay, so anyway, it's very important you have the attorney. If you like that session with them, you should retain them. I did. It just took me a little while to come up with the funds and stuff. So anyway, Queen now has more to say. She's in Texas and just moved to a different county, which is Kaufman County. Lincoln, my son, has been out of Van Zant County over 6 months in foster. I agreed to more services. So the contract that you're signing, Queen, what kind of a contract is, and what are they asking you to give up your rights, or what are they asking you to do? I need more detail to help you out there. Also, I don't know what your allegations are in Texas. I don't know what you've been accused of, and how old is your son, too, by the way? I'm so glad that you're fighting to keep your son. You're a good mother, so that is important. Also, is the partner or the father still involved with this case, or is just you as a single mom doing it all alone? Are the family members helping out? Those are things that can help me so I can address your concern about signing an agreement there. So anyway, I have been in CPS. I've been involved, fighting them for 14 years. I was involved real heavily for 3 years, and it did start with my children in 2010, soon after I lost my job. And what my allegations were unfounded, but every allegation that's made by CPS, or to CPS, has to be investigated within 24 hours, and they have to believe it's true. So you're guilty before you're proven innocent. My case was I had family members, my wife's side, making up stories and trying to get our kids. They were trying to alienate the parents from the kids. And that'd been going on for a long, long, long time there. Okay, Queen now has said something more here. Let's see what she says. Okay. An attorney quoted me for retainer was 20,000. That's a little bit on the high side. If that is that attorney from out of state or is that a local attorney? Um, I mean that's at the high end, and um, there are probably other professional family law attorneys there. Um, so that was you know okay. They want to terminate her parental rights. So you move back home. What are the allegations that were uh, alleged to you? What did social service say your allegations are? And so her attorney that she tried to get is retainer fee of 20,000, but it's not local. If it's out of the area, then that retaining fee may be sounding pretty reasonable. It is a lot of money. I know it is, but you may have a complicated case. I don't know. I don't know how long it's been going on. But and what is the agreement that what is the agreement that you they want you to sign? And again, what are the allegations, the agreement they want to sign? And on the 22nd, that's to discuss you signing some type of agreement. And I don't know what you're signing or what they're trying to take away your rights. Are they trying to take your educational and your medical rights to your child? Are they trying to put them through adoption and foster care? These are things that can happen all the time. These are things that can happen all the time. Okay, Queen, keep trying there. She said something else here. Yes, because she said the kind of case these people I think are trying to terminate my rights because of corruption. All right. Well, what are the allegations of what corruption have they done against you? Um, okay, you completed the service plan, so I guess the allegations were is that you had taken drugs when you're raising your child, and anytime that you are tested positive for drugs or have drugs, they will take your children. Children are allowed to do drugs until they're 21. And so, and I'm not saying that's legally, but it's like smoking cigarettes and doing alcohol. That's 21. Now, some states may be different on that, but I know in California, it's an upper limit. Just like uh, people that are working on their driver's license, learn permit, cannot drive anybody in their vehicle until they're over 21. So um, there are certain laws that have to be adhered by. So your allegations were that you are you're using drugs, and so, but you've completed the testing. I mean, you've probably been tested free for a period of time and stuff like that. There's a form you want to enter into court to show you new evidence. Yep, they're going to, yeah, they're going to be very, very vague. They don't want you to know. That's called deception. They're trying to alienate you from your child. They want the child because it's $1 billion business. They make a lot of money off having your children in their custody, both from the federal and from the state. So it's a money making there. So Yes, I was taking drugs in my system, but very low level. Well, um, you're considered neglect because you're exposing your children to drugs, which is illegal. That's why they did the allegations to you. And you've been clean for um, a year older. You should use that petition 388 or something similar to that in Texas. That's why you need an attorney. A 388 is petition to court to change the plan to introduce new evidence. Your new evidence is that you were tested free for 6 months, for a year, with no drugs in your system, and you completed a drug class, and you did the things in the plan. So you need to introduce that into the court. Yeah, they tested urine. That's how they would do it. Okay. So your child is 4 hours away. Um, well, they don't try to sell the child. What they do, and they're legal about doing it, is they try to put them into foster care. Foster care is a simple way, very fast way for people to take children. A lot of parents out there would love a child, and but to adopt a child normally takes years to adopt a child. But if they're adopted by foster care, they can be done instantaneously. It's a totally different, and that's why they want to get there and so forth. So it sounds like they're trying to sell them, but um, they want to put him in foster care. Why? Because he will keep getting money for him until he reaches 18. The money doesn't go to him. Very little goes to foster care. It goes to the CPS's coffers. It's $1 billion business. They want to make money off your child. And the state and the federal government give a lot of money, more money than that child needs for a month. Uh, there's there's no transparency. There's no one watching how the money's spent. There's no accountability. CPSs will lie and they will use deception, and they're not accountable. They don't even have a certificate or license to do what they're doing. They're very badly trained. Most of them are very young, and they're going for bonuses so they get their Gucci purses or they get their makeup or clothing. Because my social worker all the time was bragging about what she got, and she got this, she got that, she got a new car, a BMW car. So they give bonuses to these social workers, and these social workers are strictly working it for money. They're not interested in bringing the family together or having you be with your child. So it's an uphill battle that you're fighting there, Queen. I'm glad you have your own apartment. That's another thing you could put on the 388 form. You can have some new evidence, new circumstances that you got a apartment there. Let me see. Well, they're playing games with you. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you've done all your drug testing, I mean, you tested negative, and you've done all your drug classes, uh, then you should get your child back. Again, I don't know if you have an attorney. A public defender is an attorney, but they're very young, and they have about 20 cases at one time, and they don't have time to spend, maybe 5 minutes. But you can work with a public defender. You may have to replace them 3 or 4 times. In the dependency court, they have a public defender's office. You go there. If you don't like the current public defender, you can replace them. One person said that they did it 37 times before they got a good public defender. Same thing with social workers. You can replace the social workers if they're not to your best interest. Your constitutional rights are very important. And the 14th Amendment gives you constitutional rights that you could look at. by looking at it, because it's supposed to protect you, and you're supposed to be fairness, treated fairly and civil towards you. And it sounds like they're not doing that, Queen. Yeah, they get so much money, with the state and the federal. I know it's over $10,000, and that's a lot of money. And that all goes to them. In fact, my social worker, my child was put in, one of my children was put in a foster care, and the foster care people bought him 100 pairs of socks because they wanted to use all the money so they get more money. And what's he going to do with 100 pairs of socks? Maybe underwear, but 100 pairs of socks. So it's very, very corrupt that you're going through. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else you got here. Now, your PD is helping them, your public defender. Okay. Well, I got news for you. They don't have any scruples. They're friends and pals of social workers. They're a new attorney. They don't want to rock the boat too bad because they want to protect so they get a job. It's sad, but a true lawyer is what you really need. You may have to replace that public defender with another one until you get one that works for you. What medication for what? Was the medication for you, or what was it? I agree they've violated your rights. So, what was the medication? Yeah, you mentioned something about a warrant. A warrant is a document signed by a judge that orders and is used pretty much for entering a home or taking away a child. And a warrant, has to be signed by a judge, specifically naming the person in the warrant, what they plan to do, and what they're looking for. It's got to be that. So, um, in your case, I don't think they already have your child, so they won't need a warrant to get your child. So, now you say the word she. Are you talking about your social worker, your public defender? I don't know who you're referring to in your question that they're too scared to do anything. Now you say that there is no mediation, and there should be. Um, how it starts usually is that if you're tested positive for drugs, then the doctors will call CPS. They'll investigate. Then they come and take your child away because maybe they found that you had drugs. Then what they're going to do is they're going to put the child temporarily in a shelter, either in a hotel or a county shelter that they have for children. And then they're going to move maybe to a group home or move them over to foster care. And so that's usually the process. But they're supposed to investigate it. They're supposed to have a court hearing regarding it, an independency court. And you're supposed to, within 5 days, have a planning, safety plan meeting with the social workers where the child is going to be temporary while it's out of your custody. And you should be a part of that. And again, that's the constitutional right. So now, that's why I signed an agreement with them during mediation. So it's just a petition. When they take them, they're just stalling and making time go by. Okay. See, rule number one is I tell everybody involved in CPS, don't talk to CPS unless you have an attorney. Rule number two, don't let them in your home unless you have an attorney and an attorney says so. Also, don't let the police in your home. If you happen to be in the hospital, they're not allowed to come in your room when you just gave a child. Some parents are giving birth, they were tested positive, the hospital contacts them, and then CPS thinks they can come in the room, bring in a policeman, but they can't. They have to have a warrant. So there's a lot of these rights. That's where attorney comes in fighting. Wow. Right. She's your public defender. Okay. So, Queen, would you like to talk on the show? Would you like to call into my number on the show um, and talk live? Maybe it'd be easier, and I could ask you the questions and see what you um, have issues with there. Um, you can call 626-698-0990. I can put you on the show. So if you don't want to be on the show, I understand um, that it's very traumatic what everybody goes through anyway with CPS. Um, okay. So is your public defender working for you or working against you? Okay. You have a mediator, and they sometimes are bad news. And what I'm telling you, that they call them CASA, court appointed service volunteer. They're supposed to be the best interest of the children, but you know that person is bad news. You don't want to have that. Yeah, your public defender isn't working for you. Your mediator is not working for you. It's called CASA in California, and um, what that is, as a court-appointed service advocate association, and it ensures that children, youth, and foster care system have a voice, and the service they need is a stable future. It's a court appointed and works on one with the foster youth, advocates in their best interests. Sometimes it may work, sometimes it won't work, and I'm sorry to tell you that. Um, I don't know what they call it in Texas, but um, that mediation is not really good at all. Yeah, well, CPS hated me because I was fighting them. I was writing them emails and messages and having meetings telling what they're doing with my violation of constitutional rights. I was supposed to be informed of ICWA, which is the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1979. They didn't do that. For all you that have Indian blood in you, and this is to protect your Indian children, um, CPS is supposed to contact the tribe and see if you're registered or could be registered with that tribe. I'm from the Lakota Sioux at Rosebud Reservation. I have a great great grandmother, 100% Lakota Sioux. The only problem being is that the Indians don't do very well at keeping things written down. So until I find an Indian name, I'm kind of helpless. I got a white man's name because she married my great great grandfather, but lots of times your violations, my safety plan uh, was not done right and stuff. So I feel for you there. Um, No, she's in Texas. Uh, she's in Texas. Empathy. She's in Texas. You've been following along. What can I do for you, Empathy? Um, do you have a CPS case? What city and state are you from, Empathy? You're allowed to ask for advice in a professional matter. I asked you to list your name. I can't say the first part of your name because that's very detrimental. I don't know what you're implying there because that is definitely not a good first name. Also, you're supposed to give your city and state and your allegations with CPS and your question, and I'll gladly let you participate. But you need to modify your name, and you need to tell me the city, state, and the allegations. So yes, people are allowed to text in comments. I will answer them, but it's very important that these are real comments, not political forums, or not someone that just wants to be crazy in the room and disrupt the room. And I'm sorry, but empathy. Um, okay, okay. She's in Los Angeles, in California. Um, I can't show your name because your first name that you listed in there is really detrimental to minors under the age of 18. Um, what are your allegations? Um, I need to know your allegations. And uh, yeah, what are your allegations, Empathy? What are your allegations? Infinity, what is your allegations? Now, if you want to visit your child, I need a little bit more detail so I can help you. Also, you need to change your first part of your name, please. Okay. So, Empathy has another name called Modern Mixed Tapes. Okay, well, that's interesting. I don't know what that means, but I'm asking you, what are your allegations? Modern Mixed Tapes? What are your allegations? And while you're writing that, I'm going to take a moment to all the listeners to say there's welcome to my live podcast. I know how you feel. I know how you're hurt. CPS is not your friend. They weren't my friend. They're very detrimental. They're not transparent. They're deceiving. They lie, and they do steal kids. They stole three of my kids. I got two back too, but they are very, very uh, not caring. There's no such thing as family uh, reunify. They don't want to reunify the family. Um, and so it sounds like we got Queen here in Texas who completed her drug program, and it sounds like they're trying to dissuade her longer and longer. Anyway, the number comments, appreciate the comments they're getting from all of you. Again, I like the name and appropriate name, and I like the city and state. And if you're from a country, the country and city. And I want you to hear about your case, your allegations, what it involves, what children's involves, and then what is your question. And I'll gladly take them and display them and so forth. We have Modern and Queen on there right now. Okay, so she was tested positive for having weed. All right. There's some misconceptions that it's okay that smoke marijuana. Well, yeah, if you're over the age of 21, it's okay. But if you're under the age of 21, it's like cigarettes and alcohol. Minors cannot, especially at the age of under 18 as a juvenile, partake in drugs. It's against the law. And that's why your child was taken away from you, Modern. They took her when they gave birth to her, yes. And that's what they will do. The doctor will test you. If the doctor tests you positive, by law, he's required to contact CPS. CPS, in turn, will use a policeman and deception measures and enter the room where you just had your child and try to take your child. For all you listeners, that does happen. I've heard many stories about that. And I'm telling you right now, they're not allowed in the delivery room. They have to have a court order. They have to have a court order, a warrant that said they have the right to enter that room and a right to take that child. So, and it has to be signed by a judge. It can't be something done over the weekends. So, you need to exercise your constitutional rights there. Now, as I was explaining, the way they interact with the show, we have a good interaction with the comments. But if you want to call in and talk right now, you call in 626 698 0990. And that's my office phone, my direct line, and it's live during the show. And I'd love to have you guest speaker. I'm on the show uh, every day, 2 times a day, one at 10 in the morning, one at 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. If you don't want to talk right now, but you want to talk at a future date, you can call the office at 888-888-6582 and ask to be on one of my shows, and they will set you up. Make sure you mention my name, Bob Pace, so they know what you're talking about. That's 888-888-6582. And lastly, a very important tool that you want to have is a lawyer, and I mean a professional lawyer. There are public defenders out there, and as Queen has said, they don't represent her. Public defenders are presented for people that can't afford attorneys, but they're really not going to fight your case. This show is produced by a law firm, Vincent W. Davis and Associates, has a lawyer that practices in family law, dependency court, that has been fighting CPS and getting children back for a long, long, long time. He's good at what he does. He's a trial attorney. He can go he's from Southern California, but he'll go into Northern California or other states around the country. So he will help you. Now, right now, he's offering a free 30-minute to an hour consultation to talk about the strategies of fighting CPS and how they get your kids back. So it's important you call in at 888-888-6582 and say that you want to set up a meeting with Mr. Davis. Make sure you mention my name because the consultation does cost money, but with my name, you get it for free. Also, it's very important after you talk to him that you think about retaining him because he can represent you whether he's in Southern California, Northern California, one of the other 50 states. So he's a good attorney. You have nothing to lose. So that being said, that's my announcements at the halfway point. Now, I know that Modern you can't. Okay, you're at work. Yes, we can interact via chat. No problem. Recently need help and people say they help me. So I'm going to display. Okay, that's the other person. Okay. Testing positive for having weed in my system. That's what Modern was saying. They took her when I gave birth, and that is the law. They will do that, but they got to have a court warrant. You may have been tricked into giving up your child. And your question is if my reunification services were taken away from me. No, they're not supposed to be taken away. That's one of the important components. Even if you tested positive, like the other person, Queen, She went through a drug program. She has tested the negative for over a year, and so she's satisfied the program there. So, you know, if not terminate your services. Okay, we knew about that. All right. Um, yeah, that is the hard thing. You can't afford an attorney. Um, my my case started when I got laid off from work, and through no fault of my own. And I know what it is not have money for a lawyer. I had to sell my house and give up everything to save my family. I had to save my family. So, but you may have to work with a public defender. Let me see what else she said here. Okay, um, your reunification service has not been taken away unless you signed a paper that did so. There has to be a court order to take away that services and set up for formal adoption. That's where you're going to lose your educational rights and where you're going to use your medical rights for your children. But I don't think you've lost that. I think it's a stall tactic that CPS is using and so forth. So, um, with that being said, uh, as far as getting more supervision, it's basically on how you're dealing with the social workers. If you get them upset, they're probably going to deny you no more visitations. I know how they are. They brainwashed my daughter at 12 to not see her mother and father. And so she thought adoption was, and so she divorced her parents. It was a sad, sad story. So I know what you're going through. Okay. Okay, and they were right for determining if I. We have to use proper language, ma'am. Um, I know you're angry, but you got to be professional. I know you're angry, and it's really hard. Um, um, if you weren't doing what was in the plan, and you don't have a public defender, or any kind of lawyer, I mean, uh, that's the one person that can help you. Then they will set you up to do that. What you need to do is you need to get a attorney, and and there are attorneys out there besides Mr. Davis that can help you. I just know that Mr. Davis is a sincere man. He will help you. And right now, he's offering that free consultation, which is hard to come from any attorney. Well, that's a good sign. If they're with your parents, it's a lot better than in foster care. And all you need to do is do what they say. Just yes, no with the social workers. Don't get into discussions with them. Don't talk to them. Just say yes, no. And then do what they ask you. Do everything in your plan. If they ask you to do something you don't agree to, do it. You need to do everything they ask you because then they'll hold you hostage and you won't see your child there. Modern. You have to use in California the petition 388 to introduce new information or changes to the current plan. But you got to have something new. And so if you complete all your drug classes, you tested free for a year, then they can change the plan and have more visitations with you on that. So, Queen, are you still there, Queen? If you have more questions for me, I'd gladly help you, Queen. We have another discussion here with Modern. Okay, Modern. You go through these public defenders until you find one that'll work for you. You just tell them what your case is about, and then if they don't work out, you go back to the public defender's office and say, I want another one. One guy told me he had to go through 37 public defenders to find one that would work for him. The courts don't like it, the judge doesn't like it, but your constitutional right to have a public defender that will represent you fairly. And it's your duty and right to request the one that can do so if you need to change. Just like social workers, you may want to change your social workers. And the thing is these social workers aren't well trained. They don't have a certificate, and they don't even go through a mentor program where, for a period of time, they learn how to work these cases. They're thrust right into that with very little knowledge, very little caring or people skills. And I'm just trying to tell you, you just got to be careful talking to them. Oh, so you already talked to Mr. Davis. Okay. And what did Mr. Davis tell you to do? What did Mr. Davis try to do? Modern, you need to answer me that, okay? I have a new person here. Welcome, Tess Young. I don't know what state or city you're from or your allegations are, but they're trying to split me and my husband. Yeah, they will try to break up your husbands. If your husband's a deadbeat or if the wife's a deadbeat, they'll try to go the one that isn't deadbeat or what the problem is. But if you guys both love your child and want to work together, then they should do family reunification. They should keep doing family reunification. And so you have a trial today in dependency court. It's probably the trial to deal with your plan. What are the allegations there, Tess Young? What are your allegations? And what city and state are you from? So far, we have Texas and L.A. Bonner is from L.A. and Queen is from Texas. I don't know if Queen's still around, but if you have more questions, Queen, I really would like to help you. So, Tess Young, where are you from? Okay. Yeah, you still haven't told me where you're from or what the allegations are. My reunification took 3 years, so don't feel bad with 1 year. And mine was over false allegations that proved to be untrue. But with my attorney, I was able to get my 2 boys back. I lost my daughter. She got brainwashed by CPS, thinking that foster care was the way to go. But she had a real uh, love for expensive things. She's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And unfortunately, she divorced our parents. And we still miss her very, very much. Tess, what are the allegations and where are you from, Tess? What are the allegations and where are you from, Tess? If you could tell me, that'd be great. Okay, Testa, you're in Shasta County. Yesterday, someone from Shasta County talked to me. So there's 2 of you in Shasta County that have the case. What are the allegations, Tess? What are your allegations? Okay. Um, are to protect homeless and drug use. Okay. Those are the allegations. Now, with the drug use, they probably tested positive. And if you did do any drugs, whether you were there or not, if you have a child in your custody and they are there, they're going to take away their child. That's why they did that. Being homeless is a hard thing, but they should not try to take away your child. I think they take away the child because of the drugs. And what you have to do is go through a drug plan for taking classes on about drugs, and you have to be tested negative for a year. It's a hard thing to pay for, but minors are not supposed to be exposed to drugs. It isn't you that they're after the protection of the child. And so that's why they are involving you in their tests. I know you said the allegations are to protect homeless. And drug use. Now you say, okay, you're no longer homeless. That's really good. Congratulations, Tess. Now you have to get your attorney, and if you use a public defender, mention about a 388. In California, a 388 is a form they use to introduce new evidence into court that you could do your drug free for a year, all your test results, and that you can have a home, you can show a rent receipt, and that you have a home that has a cooking area, place to feed your children, and a bedroom for your child. And those are positive things. And on a 388, that will change the current plan that you have in place. It can be modified or dropped, and they can do the reunification. So you need to get that 388 filed. So again, for all you listeners out there, it's really important to have a attorney, and you have to have an attorney that is professional, that it would work for you. Now, I didn't mention early on, but a second tool is a notebook. You want to have a notebook so you can take care of all your notes, and you want to list the date and time of the incident, who was involved, what was the incident about, and then the outcome. It's 4 parts, and you list it because a year from now you won't remember it. So you got to start writing that thing down. That's your second valuable tool, is to use that note taking there. Now, your first valuable tool is to get an attorney. Again, I'd like to remind everybody about the law firm that's producing the show, and the lawyer that I recommend is Vincent W. Davis. Now, Modern said that she had talked to him, but I don't know what the outcome was, Modern. But Modern did talk to Mr. Davis. He's offering a free consultation of 30 minutes up to an hour to talk about the strategies of how to fight CPS and how to get your children back. He's been practicing a long time fighting CPS. He has won CPS cases. He has gotten children back. He also sued CPS. Criminally, he has sued CPS and won. And I'm talking about big bucks on that one. So you want to call in 888-888-6582. You want to mention my name, Bob Pace sent you, and that you mention that to the attorney, Mr. Davis, and say, Bob Pace told me to talk to you. It's really important that you take advantage of this free service or free consultation, because he normally charges. So he's a trial attorney. He practices in Southern California, Northern California, and other states, and I strongly recommend him. So. We're getting close to the end of the show. Is there anybody, anything more, Tess or Modern or Queen, you'd like to express, and I can help you out? We've had 3 callers. We've had Texas, LA, and then Shasta County in California. So seems like everything is the same no matter where they're calling from. CPS is corrupt. I yet to hear really a good story how CPS works. And so you have to be really careful discussing anything with CPS workers. They're not your friend. They're out to get your children because they need the money. It's like they're very young and immature. And you really are in a really tough pickle there fighting CPS alone. Don't try the fight without an attorney. And if you're forced to use the public defender's attorneys, make sure you're on them. If you don't like them, replace them. And if you say you don't like them. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, um, you could call in. To 888-888-6582. Tell them Bob Pace sent you, and that you want to have a consultation with Mr. Davis for that half-hour thing there. Okay, we got Amy Quinn just wrote a message. Okay, well, that's a nice question, Amy Quinn. Welcome to the show. She's from Shoals, Indiana. She has a 15-year-old daughter, was staying with her dad while I was homeless. December 7th, he was arrested for drugs. My daughter and his 3 other children were taken. Yep. Taken from him. They should have had a meeting where they're going to place the kids, a safety plan meeting. And if you're homeless, you can't be with you, but maybe there's family members. They could all be together. So you have a family of 4 kids. And I'm so sorry to hear that, because using drugs is a no-no with young children. I know it's hard, but you can't be around children using drugs or test positive drugs when you have children. It's something as parents you have to sacrifice and not do drugs. And you have to wait till the children are grown up and are adults. And then it's a different story. I'm not here to say doing drugs is a good thing or a bad thing. It's just part of our society, and people as adults have to deal with it. Okay. Oh, you have a home now, and I have doctors to see if they keep putting me off. Okay. The reason why they're putting you off, I don't know if you heard earlier, that CPS, Child Protection Services, is $1 billion business. They're trying to get that money, sometimes in excess of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year for each child, not year, per month, each child. And so it's a money making business. And they want to delay you, install you, and use all kinds of tactics. If you got a home, and that's a good positive thing, you need an attorney. You need an attorney to enter a 388 petition. You need to get new evidence. In Indiana, I don't know if a 388 is the same thing. I know someone in Maine knew about it, but I don't know if Indiana uses that form or not. But anyway, you need a petition to the court to introduce new evidence, whatever the form is. So you could type in, Google it, a petition to submit new evidence on a CPS case in Indiana, and it'll tell you the form. But you really need an attorney. All you that you're listening out there, I can't tell you enough. I was lost without an attorney. I tried to fight. I'm a very intelligent man, a very older man, and I knew what I was doing. But they violate your constitutional rights so bad, and all they want to do is collect that money. And they took advantage of me because I was in a perfect storm where I'd lost my job through no fault of my own. My retirement money was cut in half. And then on top of that, the investment was bad by my company, by the way. The banks were crashing. My parents were dying, and I had all their belongings because I didn't have a place to store them, and I couldn't afford the storage, so I have them in my home. And because of that, social services says that you were neglect to your children, and both my wives and I were charged. And they said the boxes could have attacked your children, or the chairs could have furniture come upstairs and attacked them. Something ridiculous stuff like that. So I know where you're coming from, and I know the crazy world you're in. Now, with that closing here, Amy, I want to help you further. I have a show tonight at 7 o'clock. Amy and Tess Young and Queen and Modern, you 4 people can come back tonight. You can talk on the show at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, or you can call into the office. And let me remove there. We're not taking any more calls anymore, so I got to take that off because I'm at the end of my show. So please come back again. I want to thank all your listeners. I feel for you. My heart goes out for you. I know what you're going through. I know how frustrating it is, especially when you don't have money to hire a professional attorney that can help you. Um, but try your best to do with the public defenders. Just be careful what you tell them and demand them. If they don't want to perform, then you get another public defender, another one, until you get a public defender that will work for you. Also, you'll find that Google is a good resource of information. You type in what you're looking for, and there's things that can help you out there. Again, I'll be on tonight as well as the rest of the week, so you can see me, 2 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. And the only thing is on Sunday I come in at 10:30. So I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank for the thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Good luck with the new year, my success and happiness, and God bless you all. And keep fighting for your kids. Do not give up. You're loving parents. And to I'll see you later. Bob Pace.